All right, welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week. Got to think, man, I'm all jacked up here. Just finished eating my pizza. We got it on time early today. We could eat before. You won't see me eating all day or tonight. Let's see. Got to think WALTRIP Pressure Washing and Solutions. Turn to synthetics. Coming on board this year. And still got to think, or give a shout out to the golf tournament at Battlefield Golf Club for Dave Millard for charity for medical relief charity. So sponsor a hole, do something, donate some money, prizes, whatever. Greatly appreciate it. I think GRIER and Associates. I don't associate with certain people. Mean Dean Automotive. Got to thank those guys for giving me a hat the other night when it was cold out. It was cold.
Yeah,
and GRIER gave me a toboggan, which was great. Safety Clean, Performance Plus Motor Oil. I think Bill and Chuck and Terry and all those people here at Langley Speedway to allow us to do the show here. Bondurant Brothers Distillery, Mayhem Management, MPM Marketing, Black Acid Racing Apparel if you need 1 or 5,000 shirts. Gen X show is presented by Gen X Motorsports Driver Development and Race Rental Program. So if you got a bunch of money, you want to go racing, you don't want to buy anything, just hit them up. Just stroke a check, right, Jack?
That's right.
They'll have the car here waiting on you. Just bring your helmet.
Even you can get
I could. Slinger Speed, if you need some T-shirts or hats or so forth made for your race team. VA 811. VA, they sponsored the Xfinity race in Martinsville this weekend. Factory Canopies and Fluid Logic. Papa John's, thanks for dinner. Dinner is provided by Papa John's. GAC, Great American Company. Really got to thank all those guys for their support over the years and continued support. And with that, we got the news this week.
Oh, we got a little bit of news this week. The Cup Series race up at Martinsville this past weekend. Kyle Larson got the win. Xfinity, John Hunter Nemechek. And in the trucks, Corey Heim got the win, but I think the neatest thing was they put them rain tires on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty cool to start the race out. I think they ought to give Rick some rain tires. Let him try it.
That won't even help me.
Although I thought the 41 was going to have a good shot on Sunday. I don't know what happened at the end. I did. Huh?
It's been on the road.
Did it? Because I missed the last half of the race, but I mean the first half he was the guy. I don't think anybody had anything for him. Although I was surprised that he was real nice to the 1 and the 22.
Yeah,
because they lapped them like in no time, which I couldn't believe. And those guys came back to finish 2nd and 6th or something. I think Chastain finishing in top 10.
All right, at Caraway this past weekend. Now, if I get any of these wrong, I know you're gonna pick me up on it, right?
Yeah, I was in Alabama. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's here. He won't have to message you, tell you you're wrong.
In the late model race at Caraway this past weekend, Jason York got the win. In the Challenger division, Alex Stoltz. At Hickory Speedway, the Smart Mods were racing down there. Caleb Hetty got the win. Tri-County, the Grand National Super Series was running at Tri-County this weekend. Jeremy Mayfield won both races in that division.
He's back racing again?
Yeah, and our buddy Jason McDowell finished 5th in the 2nd race. At New River, Rusty Daniels got the late model win, and the 2nd race was won by Michael O'Brien. Nashville late model winner, Hunter Wright, up at Lonesome Pine. The limited, whatever, well, I don't know what they call it. They're not late models anymore up there, so I don't know.
I think it's a limited.
Late model sportsman.
Anyway, Kyle Barnes won race number 1. Josh Gobble won race number 2. And some cat in the Mod 4s who I don't think he's been beaten the last 2 years is Kevin Canner. He got the win. Down at Florence Speedway, late model race number 1, Cody Kelly. Late model race number 2, Cody Kelly. And the Super Truck winner was Cody Kelly. So he won 3 times down there.
Damn.
That Cody Kelly guy sounds
And he won a protest.
And yeah, he did. He won a protest. That's right.
See, I'm glad Mason's here.
I am too, because every time I say something, I'm waiting for him to chime in behind me. I'm just
The internet's tough.
at Dominion Speedway this past weekend. Late model race number 1, Peyton Sellers won. Late model race number 2, Logan Clark got the win. In the Dominion Stocks, Dan Rogers got the win. At Halifax, the late model winner was Walker Arthur. The Carolina Sprint Series winner was Brianna Lawson. The Super Stocks, Cody Keith. Super Streets, Justin Kidd. The Stock V8s was Mike Stevens. The Pure Fours were Dustin O'Neill. And then here at Langley Speedway, the Pro 6 division, Travis Wall got the win. The Legends, Tommy Jackson Jr. got the win. The Virginia racers was Cody Bryant. The modified, I think, were there other cars in that race? Matt Carter won them both. I mean, I just wondered. And in the bandos, Brian Runstrom Jr.
What happened in the bandos? I seen what's her name? Her car.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Sore subject.
Yeah, we'll talk about that again. All right, some other news going on. Please vote for Langley Speedway, but to get the $50,000 in the track challenge thing, I think that's going to be big. If you get, they can do renovations or whatever, and if they win it. So vote for Langley Speedway. Dixieland Speedway opens up this Friday night. Hickory will have the Cars Tour down there. You going to Hickory for the race this week?
If it rains here, maybe.
No. Okay.
He's got a job Saturday.
Oh, I'm just asking.
Well,
And Southampton Motor Speedway made the announcement today that it's official. They're opening up. They're going to start out as a drift track. There is hopefully plans down the road to go back to oval racing once they get everything in line.
Going.
But the oval, I think the drifting series, the people that are involved in it are heavily involved in the drifting series. So they're going to start it off with something they said they know. So they're going to do the drifting series.
Now, did
Freedom
they?
Factory is the model. And they're already having over racing. So
Do what?
the Freedom Factory is the perfect model.
Oh, I don't know what
It's
that's.
the old, it used to be DeSoto Speedway, closed for years.
Oh,
Cletus opened it up as a drift track to film YouTube videos out, and they've already hosted sportsmen's, mini stops, and all kinds of stuff.
they said they're going to go there.
Did they purchase the track?
The
Or-
track has been purchased.
So they're
Yes.
living there.
No, they're not living there.
It's not zoned for that, Mason.
I got something to say, but I don't want to say it out loud. But no, they're not living there, and it was purchased. Everything was purchased, and
It's a done deal. It's
it's done deal. They've already taken possession of the track, and understand they've already gone up and redoing the tower and everything up there. So I kind of can't wait to see that happen. At least there's something going on out there for a change
Mhm.
instead of it just sitting there.
Is the community excited about drifting instead of circuit track racing?
I don't think anybody knew what was going on, to tell you the truth. So I don't know. But it didn't come out till today.
I had no idea anything was going on there.
I think Mason was talking to them. They're gonna have a section over there where you can park your vehicle and watch. They're gonna name it after you.
All right, let's go to our first guest tonight. We got a busy night here tonight. Let's get to the first one. We got Rick, big motor POUST here with us.
You were right. You're a big mouth. I told you I was gonna be nice, but you started it, so it's your fault.
So we've had one race and didn't turn out as good as you wanted it to. Tell us about your experience in that first race and you blocking everybody down the back straightaway.
So I don't know what happened. I showed up with a perfectly clean race truck. I watched a little bit of racing, and next thing I know, I was leaving with a torn up race car. I don't know what happened.
Did anybody leave that super truck race with no damage?
The Ford truck did. I think he was the only one with no damage at the end of the race.
Wow, I
I
thought
know
everybody.
3 that finished.
Hey, there was 4. I
Was it
finished.
4?
I
I thought somebody came in and parked.
nope. That was me taking forever to get in here. So
Yeah, I thought I was like, House might still win this thing.
yeah, so did I.
Until you
it
screwed the
stopped
start
going.
Why didn't it go?
I jumped out of gear. I got it in the third gear. It was digging, and then it wasn't digging, and I hit 8,000 RPM. I was like,
Mm.
So I lifted, took my time trying to figure out why it did it, got it back in gear, and she went back to digging. So
Mm.
I know it's gonna drive well. Not gonna look as pretty, but it's gonna drive well. But that was just one of them races that happens every once in a while. So,
I mean, it was. I looked up and everybody was spinning and going crazy down there.
man, every time I turned around, there was a caution, which worked out for me towards the end of the race because I didn't have a chance for those two up there. I mean, I don't know if they both had 4 tires or not, but I knew they were way faster than me in their own class. And I know I only had 2 tires, so I had to take care of my stuff. So I was kind of just chilling, making sure that the 88 was kept behind me and didn't catch me. I wasn't trying to pull away from them or anything like that. I figured those two, with the way they were racing, would make contact and maybe there'd be a chance for me later on in the race. But
Which about played its hand.
almost. So it almost did. So each caution, I got a chance to learn a little bit more on the restarts. Kept taking the cone. Got to start beside Hunter every time. And I know Hunter, he's a great guy. So I knew I could barrel it down into turn 1 and not worry about anything. So I mean, I could go inches from him and be just fine. So I took each opportunity I had to learn the way he restarted. And then the last restart, he still got me, but he messed up his shift, and I was able to pull out and beat him to turn 1, which worked out in my favor. And next thing I knew, I looked in my mirror because I don't run radios, so I looked in the mirror, and Hunter was sideways. I was like, crap, did I do that? I hope I didn't do that. He's too good of a guy. I don't want to do that. But I didn't lift. I kept going. I was like, well, this is mine now. This is mine now, so I got to go before he catches me again. It just worked out. I think it was lap 17 when we took the final green flag, and we made it all the way to 24 3/4.
I know. I was being Jack up there. I was like, I think Rick's going to pull this one out. Like, he's pulling out. Then it was like, oh.
Well, I had already called down there and told them to make sure they pull you to the side and check your car.
But Jack, I have no doubt you're the reason the caution came. I'm not going there. Anyhow, I was going into turn 3, no caution. I was like, all right, don't screw this up. Don't hit that bump. Don't mess this up. Chris is back there. I know he is. Don't screw this up. I come out of 4. I was like, good job, bud. You didn't screw that up. Oh, what's that? Yellow. Yellow. I said, where's the checkers? All right, cool. Maybe I'll come around again and get the checkers. But I had no idea what the rule was here at Langley. I now understand it. Still doesn't make it hurt any less, but especially with what happened on the next restart. And I want to be clear, that next restart was nothing more than racing. So there's no hard feelings between me and the 8 truck. We have talked. I still have a lot of respect for Chris. And to be honest, I wasn't even mad inside the racetrack when it happened. It was just a bunch of tight racing up front amongst fast trucks, which I've been waiting since I started to have that many fast trucks at the front of the field. And
yeah, I mean, I think if everybody else had kind of piled into y'all would have worked out, and it would have been between the two of you over here.
Yeah, I still think he would have beat me back to the line because, I mean, he's.
Well, I know, Rick, look, if somebody's got
He's a
you
better
like this,
driver.
you just keep turning like that.
So last time you told me that, I tried it. It did not work out.
It didn't work out. Well, it didn't work out your way either.
No. So turning across the bumper doesn't work. That's a move that I've crossed out of the racing moves. So not going to do that no more. But no, what really happened was just slight contact. It doesn't take much with as loose as I run my truck. It's a little slight contact coming out of 2, and we got hooked up and never could get apart. We had almost got separated going into turn 3, but it was too late by then. The whole field was coming. So nothing anybody could do. Got turned around, and everybody else saw what happened. So
yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate.
saw
I was
that.
glad Chris was okay.
Mhm.
I mean, being flipped over like that.
I don't know. I don't really remember much of what went on. I just know I was getting hit 7 ways from Sunday. So I felt like a Days of Thunder episode whenever I got out. The only thing that didn't have a scratch on it was the right rear quarter panel. Everything else was toast. Been some long nights rebuilding and putting things back together and stomping on panels and stuff, trying to get them back out right.
I bet that was fun to watch, you sitting out there stomping a paddle back.
Oh yeah, my daughter looked at me like, "Dad, what are you doing? That's my job. Don't throw a fit." Because I took the panel off the truck, I set it on the driveway. I was like, I wonder if this will work, and I stomped on it real hard, and it worked. I was like, whoa. So I jumped on it some more, stomped some more, and it actually looked like a quarter panel once I was done with it. My daughter's just looking at me like, "Dad, what are you doing?" So it was a pretty cool experience right there. So, but we'll be back. We got a little setup work to do yet. We got our toes still
Which
out.
y'all's next race is this weekend? Or?
It's this weekend. So we'll see what the truck's got. I found some problems that may have led to the reason why I jumped out of gear. So I'm hoping at least, and I'm hoping it's not a bigger issue. But I'll have parts with me just in case of what I think is fails. So
Now, is Chris's truck noise? Was that hurt that bad?
I have no idea. He said the truck should be fine, but I don't know.
It didn't look like it was, mostly cosmetic.
I can't imagine rolling the truck over does much good for the suspension, the body, and the frame and everything. I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about that. It was more or less, "Hey, are you all right? What happened?" We both agree. We'll move on, and we both understand that we can run door to door. There's no hard feelings. And racing's going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and say we're not going to make contact again, but if it happens, it's not deliberate. It's not like payback happened. It's just racing.
Right.
So bumpers we used in racing, that's a part of racing. It's an aspect of racing. I have given bumpers, ask Brad Adams, and I expect to take bumpers, and this was one of my times to take one. So
Yeah. Well, it's not like he stuck you in the wall and drove you into the wall. It's kind of a racing deal. And I respect Chris because Chris didn't. A lot of people were giving Chris a hard time, right?
Yeah, and they didn't knock that off. Just need to chill out.
And you could look at that either way. I mean, sometimes I think when you look at it happens when it happens live, it looks like it's one way, but when you go back and look at some of the video, then you might have a different opinion on how things happen, right? Yeah. But Chris stood up there. I mean, there was people, and he's like, "Hey, I'm right here. Let's give me a call. I was one holding, I respect that because Chris is not one of those guys that's going to say one thing and do another, or he stands up for what he believes in. He is an aggressive guy, which is fine. Like that, we all have different personalities.
There's nothing wrong with being an aggressive driver.
No,
I just prefer not to be the one with the aggression taken out.
right. You're just far enough. He can't get to you to be aggressive.
Exactly.
I mean, but that's what puts people in the stands, right? I mean, people love seeing that kind of stuff.
Well, we definitely drew some attention. I never was paying attention to the video, like the sound of the video or anything like that. I was watching it probably way too much. My wife had to deal with me watching it on repeat over and over and over and over and over again. But you could hear the crowd in the background in the video, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So
Speaking of, Chris is watching. So Chris.
So, if you weren't watching earlier, I talked all the crap, but sorry.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm hoping it brings positive light and not so much negative light, because that was a heck of a race we had going there. That was a good, that was a good race. There was a lot of races inside that race. So, I mean, if it wasn't the leaders racing, there was.
I mean, how many trucks took the flag to begin with?
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those.
I think 13.
Yeah, it was 13. It was 13.
And I believe there's a couple more out there that weren't able to make opening night that should be there this race.
Which is exciting, right? I mean, now I think the three of you guys are kind of the guys to beat, which is good to be that guy. You, Chris, and WALTRIP, which is fun. I mean, you guys race each other hard.
Well, maybe Hunter. Next week he'll learn how to drive and keep all the fenders on his truck. I mean,
I think
I'd hate to see somebody, even if they didn't sponsor our show.
mean,
we don't give any favoritism.
Some collision auto repair centers would make some good money sponsoring the trucks.
Right.
So there's a lot of unsponsored trucks out there. So you own a collision repair company. Go and throw it on the side of a truck out there. So some people looking for it.
Right. I know. I always tell everybody, like, Hunter's a much better comedian than he is a driver.
I don't know, man. I went away on deployment and come back, and that man can drive now.
I tell you what, they have definitely stepped their game up. I mean, honestly, last year I didn't think anybody would have anything for Chris. I mean, that truck's fast. Chris is obviously a very well respected driver, and I thought, nobody's gonna be able to get to him. But the Hunter stepped his game up, and I mean, so it's fun. I mean, you three guys are kind of the guys to beat when you get some more tires.
I like to consider ourselves in the David and the Goliath because they both have decent sized teams, and it's usually just me out wrenching on the truck. Ken will come over and help whenever he can. He primarily helps Bill, so I try not to take him away from that. So it's usually just me out there wrenching away with my daughter taking my tools and running off. Typical family stuff. So stuff I love. She's big into the racing, but I like to consider that. Like, if I'm able to run with them, I consider that a win regardless because it's just us. And, Ken whenever he can jump in there. So we're just the little team that could.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is very true.
So,
100%.
So when we wreck like this, it's a big setback. So.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if you look at Hunter's videos, I mean, his shit's toe up. I don't know if he's going to make it back this week. I had to ask him. Of course, I can't tell you what he told me. I asked him how bad his truck was, and you can imagine what the response was.
I've heard it.
I mean, he didn't blame anybody. He just a statement of how bad the truck was.
Well, he'll be with us next week here on the
Pressure
show.
washer man is?
Yeah, he's going to be with us next week, and he's going to talk trash about POUST. So now we can.
Oh, okay. Well, you better get your digs in now.
That's okay. I'll make sure I send him a picture of the trophy I take from him.
Dedicate.
There's no I can't even go into the race and brag the trophy's going home with me because there's no telling. There's 5 trucks in that field that could win that race, if not more. I might be discounting some people because I don't know where they run. So, well, there's a few others, but I would say the main 3 I would say is y'all. But there's a couple others that are in there if they get it right. Donald Brown will be there. Bill Wallace. Close. Yeah, Bill Wallace. He's an experienced truck driver. He's been around since I started, so he could be a year or 2 off there. But I mean, once he gets his stuff right, he'll be up there. Yeah, I've seen Shannon. I guess he's out of the hospital. I was thinking. Yeah, he's out of the hospital. Seems like he's doing well. I mean, he's offering to help people work on their trucks and stuff, doing typical Shannon stuff. There's a reason that man's a sportsman a year 3 times running. Right. He doesn't stop supporting this class. He bleeds for the trucks. So for sure. He's a good guy. He deserves this title. So.
So you gonna have your truck all ready to go this week, and
can we say ready-ish?
Ready-ish. Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
We'll see what it looks like in practice.
Hey, it ain't got to look pretty as long as it drives good.
Man, on the timesheet. No, it ain't gonna look pretty. She's got a new name, Dentley. So
like that.
I have about 300 hammer marks down the side of the quarter panel. The right front fender is brand new-ish.
Look like a golf ball.
Yeah, looked like my son went out there with his baseball bat and was beating on it a little bit, but it should run fine. I've had no problems winning races with ugly trucks before, so should be no problem.
All right, well, give your sponsors a shout out and everything. Everybody that helps you out.
Well, so we got Patrick Shepard. He's with Amsoil Racing. He's an independent Amsoil dealer. He's out from the Midwest and stuff, so he's done a lot to help me with my oils and stuff for the truck. Is that how you get all that horsepower? Yeah, that's how I still got the. Never mind, I'm not gonna do that. I said I want to do it. I'll leave it alone. It's your week off. I told you I'm turning a new leaf. It won't be nice.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No. I want everybody to see who the aggressor really is. So I got him, and then I got TMH Boxing, the most hated boxing. They're an online apparel store. They did a bunch of T-shirt designs and stuff for me. So they have my stuff online available for purchase at tmhboxing.com. You got to scroll down for a little bit on your phone to find me. But he's got past all the boxers in the race division. Yeah, so all the boxers are pretty badass on there. So if you're into boxing, go ahead and check them out. I mean, they're pretty cool stuff. He has some pretty cool stuff. He does.
I thought he was talking about boxer shorts. I thought he had his own regular.
Why are you thinking of my boxes, Scott.
I thought that's what you were talking about. I
Wow.
thought that made
That's
you.
a little weird to be thinking about your boxers.
That I wasn't thinking about him.
Uh-huh.
He kept saying boxers. I was thinking that's
I
what he
mean,
was talking about.
If you want to wear a pair of boxers,
I ain't wearing no boxers with Rick Poust on them.
Make
No
it
thank you.
happen, I guess.
What's up, Chris Roberts?
What a-
What's up, Bill Mellis? Dave?
So, and
Bill
then-
Mullis is one of the busiest guys around here now, running a racetrack and finding appeals officer down at.
I know, giving people their points and
I was thinking it was.
he's probably a very liked guy now.
Oh, I think Chris Price loves him to death.
And then Jake and Jody, they're always there to help me out too. So
Mhm.
they came.
What a great couple right there.
Oh, absolutely! I love seeing those two, man. Every time I see Jake, I have to chase him down. So things get weird between us. So if you ever see anything,
He said things get weird.
if you ever see anything weird going on, just turn the other way. It gets weird.
Maybe you're right, Jack.
Maybe.
I thought it was just him and Justin, but now I find out he's
Yeah.
Justin Ellis. I thought him and Justin Ellis were tight like that, but find out it's you.
Well, I mean, he's a prior sailor. I mean, I gotta, hang out with the sailors. You know how they live. You know what they say. I can't let the stereotype die.
I'm not going there because I'm sure
Two
my
peas in a pod.
I'm sure my cousin is watching right now. Her dad was in the Navy, so I don't want to say nothing right now.
So he's a fellow squid. He's got it. No, man, they're just good people. I like hanging around with them. Good jokes, good times, good conversations.
Absolutely.
You say 2 peas in a pod for sure. And Donald Brown's got a starter. As well. Or is that Shannon?
Tell Rick I have a starter for you.
Wow, Shannon, sweet. Like I said, he's the staple of the truck series, man. He's got something for everything.
For sure. Like he's the one trying to help everybody.
And he's the one that went out and bought some trucks and then
Fixing them for people.
fixing them up for people. I mean, that was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So, and then, yes, Don, I'm coming for you this weekend. You don't get an easy weekend.
Be ready.
Nah, he's a fellow chief out there, man. It's pretty cool having another chief on track.
Hey Don, it'll be good as long as he don't try to block everybody on the track. You'll be all right.
Oh man, you want to drive a truck? I want to block you straight into the wall, buddy. I'll show you.
Well,
What
if he had a little bit more motor, he wouldn't have done it.
we need a lot. Never mind.
You need a lot more motor. Is that what you said?
Obviously, I heard Hunter was watching the timing or something with the trucks and saw I had pole, and he's like, "I'm gonna go out and beat him," and he sure as hell did. He's in there laughing about it. Well, that's cool. I got him this week.
Well, I was down there when the trucks were qualifying, and I went over and told them, I said, "Look, if Pouse wins the pole, need to pull that truck out there. I ain't gonna say what you told me, so I ain't gonna tell what you told me.
Okay, now you're gonna try to turn it. Okay, I told you don't even.
Being as we've already discussed your boxers and everything else on here,
Well,
and
You're
your
talking about no pole.
and your relationship with Jake Kennedy, I ain't gonna say nothing now.
I told him if he come over and started running his mouth, I was gonna get out that truck and kiss him. He still did it. I just couldn't get out fast enough. He got out.
That's
of
what
there.
he wanted.
I think that was the quickest I've ever seen Jack move.
Don't make me pull that picture out of you today. I will do it.
Oh man, no, it was just good times. I'm glad to be back. It's been a long time coming, so
You running all season this year, or are you?
for the most part, I mean, it depends. So I've always said it. I've said it on here many times. My family is my priority. So as long as there's no baseball that interferes with the racing, I'll be here. There'll be races where he has baseball during the day, and I'll show up for the race and just see what we can pull out. But that's just for fun at that point. So,
Right.
But this
But
week,
you're not gonna be on deployment, or
no, not that I'm aware of. If that pops off and something serious has popped off, my attention's needed somewhere else. So if something serious happens, well, racing's the least of my worries at that point. So it's making sure that my kids have a home that's safe at that point. So,
Well, Rick, thank you for coming out, and hopefully you will do well this week. And
hopefully I can make it 25 laps, not 24 3/4.
And I will get with Justin to make sure everything's legal before you. Justin and I have this
What kind of
thing.
octane are you putting in his coffee in the morning? He is all for it.
It's the Papa John's.
Man, somebody needs, never mind.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know who's watching. There could be kids watching.
Well, there is some kids watching.
Yeah, there's some big kids too.
Hey, look, and my grandson thinks you're the greatest thing in the
I
world.
know. I talk to him often on Facebook.
Yeah, he takes. Hey, Rick, talk to me today. So?
He's the coolest little dude ever. I enjoy stuff like that. When the kids come up, that makes my day. And let me tell you, I had one of the worst races since I started last race. But as I'm loading, I'm looking over the damage and stuff, you know, trying to figure out how I'm going to take the truck home without the fenders and stuff falling off of it. I have a dad and his little girl come up to the truck, and I'm like, oh, cool, here we go. Somebody else can tell me how much of an idiot I am. Sweet. And he comes up, and he's like, Mr. Powell? I like, yeah. He's like, you drive this truck here, right? I was like, yeah, man. And that's me. He's like, I wanted to introduce you to my little girl. She's a big fan. He's like, you got the biggest fan out of her. And she just wanted to meet you, so I was bringing her over to meet.
Cool.
So I was able to give her a T-shirt. I have some T-shirts left over that didn't sell, so I gave her a T-shirt, and her face just made everything work.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
the
it
coolest
really
thing
cool.
ever.
I mean, that's something that a kid will never
Yeah,
forget.
and I'm never gonna forget it. Like, that was a cool experience. Like, I remember all the little kids that come up to me and talk. Like if I walk through a stand because it's cold and I got my fire suit on, or I'm pressed for time, or run over here, grab a drink or something. And the kids that come up, I love it.
Mhm.
So if you have children, don't ever feel shy.
Well,
to
you're
talk.
you're my grandson's second favorite driver out here,
Well,
but
you ain't his first, so who's his first?
This Butterbean.
Butterbean,
Okay. Well, I knew it wasn't you, so I said Sarah.
he's never seen me. I ain't gonna say it. Come on.
You're right. I never seen you finish.
All right, Rick, it's been nice having you.
There it is.
Been nice having you. Yeah.
All right. I gotta go this way. Then.
All right, Mason, Doug,
All right,
I'm gonna do you next.
We're gonna do you next.
I'm gonna do exactly like what I do to my wife all the time. Baseball games staying on. So I was like, why you gotta watch that during dinner? Well, don't schedule dinner during baseball or a race
Why they schedule a baseball
Or
during our
football.
show?
or hockey or any. Well, I don't watch competitive badminton, so not that. She's good there.
All right, Mason, tell us all about what you're up to. I mean, you got this new little venture you got going on. Tell us about that.
It's just a lot of the same old stuff. Just kind of making it a little more official, trying to have a little more fun, win a few more races. The same thing I've always done, just with a logo now. That's the only real difference, I guess. So that will be out soon. Ryan Matthews designed it for me, so I'm happy about that. Happy with the way it turned out.
Hey, Ryan is like, he's putting a hurting on everybody's logo and car wrapping and
My man's killing the game.
yeah, he is. Well, he's a
Doing
little
good.
kid, right? He ain't a kid no more.
No, I was going to say.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
well, barely.
I don't know. I'm surrounded by kids with this like New Smyrna Speedway's wife texted me or called me halfway through the week. She's like, I knew you were working with young drivers. I just didn't know they were that young. I'm like, this is the new norm. 13 is perfectly acceptable in a straight rail car now.
Well, you know, I was looking at some of the pictures from this weekend here at Langley. There's a bunch of kids running in all the divisions now, and it's really, I mean, it's good to see in a way. I mean,
look at the damn limited, right? I mean, all these kids, and it's great to see. I mean, that limited class is turning out to be, I don't know how many cars they had this weekend.
19.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I
That
think
was
there's
the one
still
race I paid attention to from down there.
and I think there's a few more that I think supposed to be coming. So I mean,
Hopefully, there's some Dominion guys. I mean, that'd be nice.
yeah. Well, I think now that it's sort of permanent and there's some decent cars, I think hopefully people will come from there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, and obviously, to be fair, hopefully our guys go up there and race with them. So
Yes. Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I mean, it's definitely a good thing. I think.
did they have any here this week?
I don't think so.
You call Humboldt a Dominion guy, I guess.
Well, I guess you could, but he's going to run here full time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they're going up to Dominion or not. Now, Mason, do you have? Obviously, you're all over doing tires. You're going to New Smyrna. you're traveling the whole East Coast. Do you ever have aspirations to maybe go do Xfinity trucks or Cup as a living? It's not as prestigious as people think it is.
Probably not, just as the fact that I can't do it from here. And my wife's done a good job. Our families are here. We're pretty bedded in here, and I don't want to move again anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I worked with the Rackley guys at New Smyrna, and they kind of were like, "Hey, you ever worked on a truck?" And I'm like, "I was supposed to once." And it's all procedural. It's actually I joke that I find it easier than what we do on the late model side.
It is, because there's not that much to do.
Yeah,
the tires are what they are.
You've already got them. They're all the same.
Right.
Look at your spring rates and do some math.
And well, you go to the big teams that you put it all on a computer and it sends it over to the
spits it out for you, yeah.
and it just tells you where to put this one and that one, and then they
set these up, yeah. Which, I mean, like this weekend was a little easier because the Southern Super Series does. They just you draw a stack, so you get 8 tires. Enjoy, tell us which 4 your practice tires and have your race tires ready for tech, and I don't have to go in there and measure 75 tires like I do in a car store weekend or more, depending on how good the selection is.
Yeah, but you got a lot going on. I was watching you down at Southern National, and you were into.
I was moving.
You had everything going on.
I only had 3 cars that day.
Well,
and I actually wanted a few more, but I mean, it's
easier when you got a bunch of them, so at least you can sort of take your tires and say, okay, I need a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Can you intermix the tires?
No. Once you mark your 4 as your 4 for that car, they're that car's. Plus, you're already mounted on the rims, and Like I think, if I remember right, Tristan runs Y5 wheels where Donnie Wilson's car were all 5-on-5. So obviously couldn't even try that to swap them on the rims.
Right.
That's just extra work.
Yeah.
I already got enough work.
Tires are a bunch of work. I mean, they are. I mean, you're pumping them up, you're letting air out, or you're blowing them all up on pressure, trying to figure out what tire is bigger and which ones are smaller. And
yeah, the wife realized that 2 years ago. She came with me to Jennerstown, and we ended up putting her to work. So we had 9 cars, and we were doing 36 sets in total over 2 days. So we were like, all right, you got to start writing notes down, or you got to start grabbing and slinging tires with the rest of us, which was just me and Wes.
Now, is that tough? Does in those scenarios when you're doing a bunch of cars, does this crew chief say, hey, I want X number of stagger, and this crew chief says that next number of stagger? And,
yep.
so
Everybody wants something different.
Right. This one wants it in the front, this one wants it in the rear.
Team A wants, they got a Fury and they want throw a random number, 3.5 inches of rear stagger. Team B's got a Hampton and they want 2, or it's all over the board. And then even on the same team, like this weekend at Alabama, Dennis wanted one thing for Gio, and Bond wanted something different for Jesse, because they had a little bit different setup and they're different drivers and they had different plans for each car. And I think we would have had 2 really good cars that we got in the race.
But how did you get started in this? I mean, where
racing or tires?
Doing tires on a regular basis. How did you?
It's just all kind of just stumbled into place. I forget what year it was that I took over doing Greg's tires. I did tires on Modified a long time ago.
Who was that for?
Mike Leach. And that was kind of by default because I was the only crew member. It was me and him. I was the hauler driver, the car chief, the spotter, the tire guy, and the liaison with the officials when he pissed them off, which was often back then. So, yeah, I can't remember what year it was. Nate, who was the tire guy, he left for a job with Chicago, and he's still out there doing great. And so I kind of took over that, and then I joked that I followed in his footsteps because he used to help out the Carols when he could, and I started doing that. And then I had a few, I was doing a few things here and there, helping Thomas for a little bit, teaching his guys, helping when Greer had Cody in the car, I helped him. And then my buddy, nobody knows who this guy is, Josh Berry. Never heard of him.
Right.
Yeah, he calls me one day. I started helping him out when I could, and we won Martinsville in 19. And then I've been talking to a friend about, hey, I want to do some super late model stuff. I want to see that side of racing. And he said, well, you really don't have a sellable resume to anybody I know, because I just raced here. When I won Martinsville, he goes, okay, now I can sell you. I said, I really didn't do anything. I just did what Josh told me to do.
Right.
And I just gave him what he wanted.
Right. It's tires are not. Once you kind of got a little system of how to make stagger.
Yeah.
The rest of
It's all
you measure them,
procedural.
right?
I might find a wild hair and be like, yeah, we need a half pound less pressure here. Maybe that's the difference. Probably not.
Right.
It's knowing what needs to be done in the process and being repetitive
Mm-hmm.
and knowing the math and all that. But yeah, so when that happened, I got my first call to go with a guy named Wesley Weed, who is a big figure in the super late model community. And I went down on a Friday. He flew me out on a Friday morning, and I went to Pensacola. Didn't know anybody there except for Bubba Pollard, because I'd done his tires at Martinsville the year before. And Anthony Warren was there spotted for the team. And we were doing Donnie Wilson stuff and a few other cars. And so I got my first taste of that. We almost won, and then flew back here the next morning, was here the next day. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, doing Snowball Derby, doing the Winchester 400, Redbud 400, a little bit of Speed Weeks. I got my first full Speed Weeks taste this year, and that is a long, long week. I tried to take my leg out at one point, taking a tire car down the track. That overpowered me, and then it pinned me between the cart and the wall.
Oh,
So that was
God.
fun. But
Yeah, well,
that was on Monday, and I still had to go the rest of the week.
That's a lot of work there to have to fight that too.
Yeah, I took the ATV more often after that.
Okay.
Like, I'm not, I'll hook it up to ATV and tow it.
It's easy.
So, yeah. But yeah, and speaking of Bubba, like, I joke with him all the time. He's become a good friend. He's a good guy. I joke after the race in 19, he walked across pit wall, and I was like, hey,
Is that what he wanted to go talk to? What's his name?
No, that was 18.
Okay.
That was when he was driving for Yelton. In 19, he drove for Junior Motorsports and with Josh, and that was when I think he ended up finishing 5th. And I looked at him and I said, what the heck happened? You ruined my 1-2 finish. I gave you exactly what you wanted. I gave you exactly what the crew chief wanted. He goes, nah, you messed up the tires, this and that. I said, nah. He goes, yeah, no, I messed up the adjustment halfway. And I'm like, okay, now the truth comes out. So
He's a funny guy, though, right?
yeah, oh yeah. He was in the tire area with us on Saturday. We were joking around. Thought I nudged him at one point. I said, I seen your boy Chase healed up real quick once Josh got a top 5. So all of a sudden, Chase was, I'm out. I'm good. Put me in the car.
Yeah, we discussed that too. That all of a sudden he was, it went from all these other weeks that he was going to be gone to he's back now. So
Yeah, and I was hoping Josh would get that run in Martinsville, but
Yeah.
I'm just glad he got the shot, and I think it moved him forward. I'm just happy to see him doing well, and it's cool for me now in this position, seeing guys that I've raced with battling for wins. Like you looked at the Xfinity race on Saturday. I've won races with Josh. I've won races with Sammy. I've won races with Chandler. He was kind of up there, So it's kind of cool, to be able to say that was a small little cog in their ascent to stardom.
but it's
But before they've got to the point.
that's a
Chandler's-
call.
And Chandler Smith is turning out to be a pretty good race car driver.
He's always been. Long time. The kids, people just didn't really.
He's
But
still pretty
Sammy
young.
Smith is the one that impresses me.
Sammy's developed a ton.
That's that move he made Saturday night on the outside or Saturday afternoon on the outside of the leaders. I thought, well, that ain't gonna work good, but he made it stick.
Yeah.
He stuck it in there, but
Yeah, but since they concreted the middle of the corners, the outside is not as. It's not like the old days when it was asphalt. The bottom was the preferred group, kind of like Bristol.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, that was part of why they did that.
you can, but I think they should have. Martinsville's still
We should have done it
Martinsville. Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's better than was like, oh, I had 20 degrees of banking.
You
Like,
can,
no.
you can ask Bill, no? Tell Bill that's a good idea. You ought to try that.
I think only doing that one strip of asphalt over there made everybody real loose coming off because they had a ton of grip getting in and coming off and won't know.
Give me my track record of ideas. If I tell Bill an idea in 4 years, it'll be a good idea. That's how it usually goes. But no, Bill's taught me a lot over the years. He's been a great influence on me. But Bill, yeah.
Okay, well, you know, I got to say something nice about both of them. So I ain't gonna
Yeah.
There's
You-
only,
you- you
there's
don't
only a
get a
couple here. There's only a couple here I don't talk nice about, but I ain't gonna call their names out. So yeah.
I mean, you really shouldn't talk about whoever that is that works to turn to you like that. I don't know.
I don't even know who works there. Too.
Little Week. Little Week's pit road now. He got elbowed last week in that super truck fight.
Oh, really?
He caught a bow his first time on pit
Well,
road.
you know, I saw that going on down there, but then
I
I
don't
kind
even know
of.
why he was mad.
I didn't see
him and
the,
Hunter got
I didn't see
together
the whole
and
thing. I just thought.
I mean, what do you expect? You got two of you going for the win, or think you're going for the win. You know.
I don't know. I was down there talking to Randy Akers about Chris flipping, and I just heard everybody yelling and looked over like, oh, they're in my pit. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, it was right. You had a front view of all that.
My team did. I was over there talking to Randy in turn 3. I done walking like I often do.
Yeah, you do a lot of walking around.
I think I'd be skinnier.
I watched you down at Southern National. You did a lot of walking around.
I think one day at the Derby, I had 20,000 steps according to my phone.
Ooh.
And I didn't have my phone on me the whole time. So who knows what the number actually would be. I need to wear I got a golf watch that Greg sold me. I need to wear that to the track one day. I'll tell me exactly how many calories and all that.
Well, Mason, appreciate you coming by.
No problem.
You don't need an invitation to come here, so we didn't.
No, I mean, it's just on the way home.
Yeah.
And you got pizza.
Well, you need
Are you going to win another race and not be eligible for
I got the Focus sitting in the backyard, so I'm just waiting until there's no racing going on to come out and win another race. I'm still the king of the hill. No one's taking the title
not
since.
driver of the week.
Not driver of the week.
Yeah.
No, but
You got to race during the season, so when the season's over with.
Look, it's just 1 week, right?
I mean, that racing goes on year round. I don't know what he's talking about.
That's true.
I was a race before the Chili Bowl, but after the Snowball Derby. It's still a season.
I'm just going to tell you that at the time we had done, you stopped the thing, Anyway,
Apparently a race at the place that hosts it for free does not constitute.
Speaking of the driver of the week, we didn't announce who the driver of the week this week was. The
Did we get the most votes ever this
the
week?
GAC Gen X Motorsports driver of the week.
Clearly from this, it's Ryan Matthews. Did he race?
I didn't see him.
No.
I'm sure he was here.
So then it's definitely Ryan Matthews.
No, it ain't him because
I mean, his page.
he got 2 votes and I don't know what he did either. I'm trying to ask myself what he was doing.
His details double what? 1st, 2nd, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th.
That don't count.
He's like me with tires.
That don't count. Don't count. Anyway, Jacob Derrick is the driver of the week this week. The Mafia was out in full force. I mean, Jesus,
my phone was going off so much. I was like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, damn, how many votes we got for us?
probably
Ain't
the
no
most,
need for me to share it.
probably the most votes we've ever had for a driver of the week. So, I mean,
Well, he does have a mafia.
yeah, all them kids down there and hang around with him, did they get on here and start voting?
That's what we need.
And I'm sure Brandy Marshall had something to do with it.
No.
I'm sure she did.
A mom? Never.
I don't know. Scott got driver of the week because of the Mafia, so I ain't gonna say nothing there.
Probably chose his mom.
No.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
His mom was sending me stuff, tell me to pull on him. So,
My mom texts me and says, it's mad that I didn't tell her I landed wherever. And I'll be like, oh, I'm at the track working, sorry. Says you just get off plane, go straight to the racetrack. I forget.
all right.
Hold on. I don't have sponsors, but I'm gonna plug.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Golly, jeez.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
professional. Can't work Google, can't work Race Monitor, can't even be nice.
Go ahead and do what you got to do, man.
So Follow me on Facebook. I do have Facebook, Dunn Racing Enterprises, DRE. And then I don't have a sponsor, but I wore my buddy's shirt. So Terry Christian on Facebook. Actually, he's banned on Facebook. Follow him on Instagram. He's the one that quit.
Facebook.
He got banned from Facebook for some reason. I don't know.
That's not surprising.
I think the shipyard had something to do with
Mm.
it. Because he was the one that quit the shipyard in a very, very loud fashion to pursue a career as a honky tonk man. And he's doing okay.
Yeah, I think he's done pretty. Actually, I think he's done fairly well. Huh?
He played out here on July 4th last year.
Mm.
So give him a follow. See where he's going to play at next.
So that's your sponsor?
Sure. I sell merch for him every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have enough things to do in the day.
Okay, but being that you kind of keep me abreast of what's going on in case I say something wrong.
I mean, look,
You and
I'm
Robert
sorry.
Hibby is, I mean, you know.
Heavy's sharing stories from 12 years ago, acting like the brand new. You race monitor. You go race results, and you can see everything. $6 a year, you can see lap times.
I've got race monitor.
Okay.
All right, it's been a nice set. It's been nice having you on the show. Time to hit the road. Don't want you to be late for dinner or something.
No, I'm sure the wife wants me home to do chores.
I know that ain't
Right
gonna,
now, play
I know that ain't gonna happen. All right, which one wants to go first? Or you want both come at the same time?
Same time or no?
Oh, okay.
Come on.
All right.
Scott, we're gonna move Scott to the end down there.
Let's get on to.
There you go. That works better.
I'll get the set.
Oh, Scott, man, we get you a seat. Dad, come get
I
down
know,
over
right?
there and let Scott sit on
No.
I didn't, you know, that's just.
I was going to give you a hard time after looking at race monitor and seeing your lap times. I was like, you should have put her in it. So I was thinking I was going to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
I mean, I just going back to that story last year when he got in the car and was like a half a second slower than you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe even more.
That was
Oh.
definitely more than a
How
half
many, how many cars are you gonna run this year?
Well, how
Too
many
many?
how many cars?
How many
can
of
I
you
run?
got at the house?
All right, so at the house, my own or other people's?
All together.
All together right now, sitting in the main shop, there's 6 of them. And in the small shop, there's a dirt lake model.
Hardcore.
So
So how many times you gonna run that?
I've run it once.
Already?
That was 2 years ago.
Oh,
Forgot my hoodie.
You might want your hoodie.
I won.
Yeah, we put it on some girl and be like, show your wife.
She knew better.
No, I ran it back in 21, but it's so hard to do with the schedule that we keep out here at Langley, and to make the trip from where we are out in the middle of the sticks to get all the way down to Dixieland on a Friday night, get home late, regroup, get loaded, get back out here for Saturday nights, because we got super trucks, super streets, grand stock, now limited, or Virginia racers, and the modified. So plenty.
You got a big stacker so you can pull everything in one
No,
day?
we don't. Why? You want to get me one?
Yeah.
No,
No.
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 Okay.
Oh, I mean, you got enough stuff there to deal with. I mean,
It's fun though. It is, and to work with some of the people that we work with, it's like a family. It really is like a family to us. We have a lot of fun with everybody. Obviously, I'm driving the 11 car this year because of Wesley not being able to do so. He's been having some medical issues, so he's been kept out of the car this season. So I drove to Super Street last week and surprisingly had fun. I wasn't expecting that.
Mm.
And then to jump into the modified this week, it broke. I broke it. It broke. I don't know. We're still debating on how it broke.
Excuses.
Amanda got in it.
No, well, she tried.
No.
She can't reach pedals.
Oh, okay.
I'm not complaining.
She can't reach the pedals. I tried to get her in it the day that we brought them out and tested, but she couldn't reach pedals. So
So, I mean, she could have got in there and messed your car up. I mean, that's, you know,
now that's a possibility.
I mean,
I've heard her
Been
say,
using a torch.
I've heard her say that, you know, she wants to be the star of the family and she ain't gonna let you get close to that.
No, she's my primary focus. So, and the only reason I'm going to run the 11 car full time is because they've asked me to, and with the amount of help that they give us, I don't mind stepping in and doing that. So
So you'll be running that full time
yes,
and the modified
part time.
part, you're not gonna run that full time.
Nope.
And then she's running the Virginia Racers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he's in the grand stock.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that part.
Yep, yep. He's going in. Dad's going in the grand stock this year full time.
Oh, you're in trouble now, man. There's gonna be a new star on the
No, I'm his boss. I can take it away. Yeah.
I ain't gonna touch that one. That went a little further than I thought.
She said we're gonna have boxers for sale.
False advertising.
Huh? I don't think I want to see no Jared Satterley boxers run around here.
No, just for the grand stock.
Oh, okay. No, we're gonna do that either.
Crabtree says we have a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Yes, but it works.
Mm.
It's fun. It really is. I
So,
mean, and
who all are you helping?
so obviously the three of us. Then we've got Kevin Rickman with the 10 truck,
Mhm.
Wesley Newell with his Super Street, Angelo Stallone with the 72 Super Street. We do help out with the Crabtree's car as well where we can. It's not housed with us. It's, you know, they keep their own, but on race days we're here together and we work together. Matter of fact, that car came from the same place as Wesley Newell's Super Street and Grand Stock Dad's driving, as well as my dirt late model. They all came from Albert Martin. So it works good because we still got Albert helping us with our stuff as well. And then we help Robbie Morris wherever we can with his modified program. So.
Dude, you got a lot going on. They just, you know, they ought to make
How do you get time to work?
That's where I go to rest. Off season really seriously stressed me out this year, trying to make sure everything was getting done on the cars, and especially being that we picked up the extra modified and had it in the shop now, making sure that her car was somewhat functioning properly, which it did not during preseason. We came out 3 times to test. The car didn't want to run the right way, crackling, popping under acceleration, come into the corner, sounded great. And we got it figured out finally that it was fuel pressure related. And we got it straight. She came out, she had a great test day with the car. And then we rolled out here Saturday for the race and it had a problem again. So then we had the motor out of the 72 car to go back and get worked on in the off season and trying to get everything put back together right on that one because we had to make adjustments on it, on the car itself to make everything go back together the right way. It has its moments where it's stressful, but
how do you, I mean, you know, how do you keep up with, I mean, you got all these cars and I guess racing some of these divisions every other week helps, but having all these cars and, okay, I got to get this done on this car today. Do you have a board you keep all this wrote down on?
no, I send out text messages to everybody that owns them and says, this is what we got to do. Actually, he does a lot of that too, because he is home most of the week and he's able to actually sit down and say, okay, we have this list to do on this car. After opening night, the 72 came back pretty rough. We'll call it pretty rough. The 10 came back to us a few days later because typically Rickman keeps it at home and he brought it up. We had to hoist it off with a tractor.
Mm.
Yeah, you got Hunter making a video of pulling his trailer or his truck out of the trailer with an excavator or something. And then we got Dad out here on one of the big John Deere tractors lifting the front of Rickman's truck to be able to get it back in the shop. So, but then I've gotten to where I kind of I've learned to not work on them as much without the owners and drivers being there because it takes some of the stress off of me and allows them to be hands-on with it to where it helps me, but it helps them to learn at the same time.
All right, Amanda, do you go out there and help them work on these cars all the time?
much as I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not all the time with school, but
But
Yeah.
now, what made you move up to the Virginia Racers? What did you see there that you wanted to do the Virginia Racers this year?
More speed, a lot more speed, horsepower, and driving a stick.
Does that seem to be? And it's funny because when I talked to Donovan last week, and he was telling me how easier it was to drive than the Pro 6, the late model or limited.
Yeah.
What about for you?
A lot easier. It actually comes in the corner and like it stays where it wants to. It doesn't. Grand stock. He can have fun with it.
Which I was kind of surprised by Donovan's
I am.
statement that, I mean, the Pro 6, you have to run really, 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 really loose to get it to turn and and to drive. So it can, it's not as stable getting off the corner. But Donovan acted like this was just much more stable compared to the Pro 6. So I was
they're
kind of
so much
surprised.
similar. They're so
They
similar
are.
though, and then
Well, they are and they're not. And I mean, we're on a similar tire. I mean, a 10-inch tire. Obviously, we're
smaller
Well,
diameter.
right.
Now, I mean, with the running it looser, is that because of the reduced horsepower versus?
Well, yes, and I think that has some aspects, because the Pro 6, you got to keep momentum going. Where the late model, you have enough motor, you can just drive it in there. You can make a little mistake and recover. Where in the Pro 6, it takes you a lap or two to
Okay.
make that up.
So what was it like in your first race out here? And
A lot more cars. There's a very big field.
very
And-
diverse field of drivers
Yes.
in that field too. I mean, you
Yeah.
think about it, the younger guys, you got some older guys in there too this year. So,
A lot.
so do you hear a lot of grief from them when you race? They talk trash to you. And
There has been some this week, but that's okay because it's my first race. I'm learning still, so it doesn't matter what they say. So I mean,
well, if they give you a lot of lip about your driving, all you
yeah.
do is say I'm better than my dad.
Yeah.
You should race them, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Or just blame it on him. Like,
Okay,
wow,
yeah.
have you met my dad? Eddie wants to know how do y'all get Albert Martin away from karaoke?
It's real easy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
You don't.
all you gotta do is say race gas, and he comes running. He likes,
He likes to sniff it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Robbie says, how stressful is the modified?
It's not.
Mhm.
It's not. It's fun. It's something new for me.
Are you gonna have it fixed before the next race?
I'm not planning to race the next race
Mm.
with it. I was thinking about it because unfortunately she'll be out for the next 2 races with the Virginia Racers, school obligations.
Mm.
Something about a senior prom
Yeah.
and a band competition.
Yep.
You're going to miss a race for a prom.
I-
Where's your
What?
dedication to the sport?
I didn't want. That's hating.
Where is your dedication to your dad working all those hours? Your grandfather out there working all those hours on the vehicle.
I mean,
Slaving away.
What's more important? Dancing around the old gym floor or going out here and
See, I don't want to go, but Hayden wants to, so might as well.
Hayden's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, now we know.
Haribo,
Hair.
Hayden, you call him what you want.
Mm.
He's interesting.
But seriously, the modified, it's the most similar thing I've felt to a dirt late model on asphalt.
Mm.
It just has such a,
Rodney Davis says Robbie spun and ran faster than Jared.
he did. Except he spun before that timing loop right there.
Oh, so he still had a good lap time because of that. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, no, he got the good lap on lap 1.
Mm.
I didn't get a good lap either lap. It was still better than my practice speed. So hey, I'll go with anything as an improvement. I'm fine with it.
well, who spots for you?
Absolutely nobody. I just close my eyes and hope like
Okay.
no. So typically, like if I'm in the super street, Robbie Morris is my spotter. This week, obviously with the modifieds, he's got his own car. So we had Jason Ashworth on the stand for me. And my radio malfunctioned in the first race.
I told you we could have switched radios.
I
but
couldn't hear anything. I heard my crew on pit road. My crew heard him on the stand. I didn't hear. I could hear the pit crew. They could hear him.
Skill issue.
So it was a lot of mirror work.
That could be it. You know, I could see him be the type to turn the radio off and just go about his business.
I don't want to know what's happening up there.
Well, you got the full plug. You don't have to turn it off.
Well, I mean, you know.
Must come unplugged.
But no, seriously, I really wish I could have heard him better in the first race. I got extremely lucky with the timing of when Matt Carter and the other leaders caught me because they were catching me coming off of 4. So I did see the flag man giving me the move over flag. And that saved a lot of heartache, you know, because by no means do I want to be out there in anybody's way.
Right.
Just, you know, I'm out there to play, have fun. I don't want to be somebody's problem. So.
Well, you know, you get Amanda to go up there and you know, coach you while you're, you know.
I say push the gas pedal, you better push it harder than that. You know,
Or turn right.
you know how many times I've been coaching her on the radio? Oh, I don't think I want to hear that coming back at me.
Yeah.
Robbie said, for the record, Jared said he was going to let me know if he felt to run up front until I passed him, and he parked it for something called overheating. I think he's calling you. I think he's saying you're full of
In
it.
other words, what he's saying is, once Robbie passed him, you know,
He knew there had to be a problem.
Yeah, the game was over at that point.
Yeah. Once he passed me, he knew something was wrong. Now, I was doing all right with it, but the car did get hot in the first race. And down here in 1, when the 24 was sitting sideways, and I came in and hit the brakes and locked up quicker than I expected it to. Spun it out to avoid him. Really didn't think I was going to miss him. I braced. I was ready for the hit, and it never happened. So, but once that happened, the temps just came up and up and up, and it never wanted to come back down, even after we went back to green flag. So,
Do you see what caused it overheating?
yeah,
Belt come off.
Robbie.
You were just that mad in the
No,
car.
he had
Did he
had the
pass
wrong
you, or was
size-
he lapping you?
Wrong size restrictor in it. Oh no, man! But that was still the first lap, I think. I don't think we made it past lap 1 for like the first.
So wait a
30.
minute, I'm missing something here. So Robbie sabotaged your car.
Well, it came from him. What do you think he did to it?
Yeah, sabotage. Robbie determined he wasn't going to finish last in this race. He gonna make sure you-
Now, in all seriousness with Robbie, I've got to say, his car looked really good.
It does look good. It does look good.
I mean, not just the appearance of it, but it looked. I mean, he was really competitive and racy with it the other night. I was impressed to see that car. He went through a lot. I mean, cutting off lug nuts before qualifying, and
Oh, really?
he had all kinds of problems. The first race he finished, I don't know if they came loose or fell out, but he didn't have nothing holding the left front upper control arm on no more. I got
Well,
a
that's
picture
the
of
one
it
you
on
would
my
want.
phone where he's coming through the corner and his left front's leaned in like this. It's like, no, that's not right.
Well, if there's one to lose, that's the one.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if you're high cross or low cross guy.
Well, tell us a little bit about your sponsors, Amanda. I know you got some sponsors you want to talk about.
We got Maritime Mayhem, which is right there. Yep, all camera. Got Martin's Custom Marine. Yeah. Who else?
You got to know. You got
Yeah.
to know these things. You
I
can't
know.
sit here. You can't look at your dad like that.
Well, we don't have that many.
And on top of that, you're going to dump him for a prom.
Okay. I'll
That's
I'll
for the
fire
boyfriend.
Hayden. I'll fire Hayden.
It's for the boyfriend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You didn't even know
I mean-
the difference between a manual and an automatic.
And you're dating?
Well,
I
he's-
know.
What, 11?
11.
Oh.
I mean, I would think
That's
he'd have to
news.
be kind of car savvy to be in the group.
This story is getting worse.
Aaron said Chase Bros missed the senior prom last Saturday when his girlfriend won prom queen.
Okay, now impressive was it was last year with Angelo. Angelo came out here, raced his super street, says, "Hey, are you guys good?" And he jetted out of here, went home and over to Pocosin. And within like 20 minutes, his mom was sending me pictures of him in his dressed up suit and everything, and headed to prom. So he went from the track to prom.
We had somebody here one time that changed in the trailer into a dress, into her. It was a her. I can't remember who it was.
Maybe you can't tell that nowadays.
Well, well, I tell you what, this went off the rails. But I'm saying it was. They changed in the trailer, and during the break of one of the races, ran out, scooted out, ran out, got in the car, and went to the prom.
Wow.
Sandy, you can do that.
Well, Mom says she's gonna come to the race on her graduation day.
Yeah.
And then Albert said it's only karaoke's only one night a week.
Maddie Ryan, that's who it was.
Was it that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Aaron said it was Maddie.
she's actually graduating June 10th and racing the same night. So
Yeah.
So you're not going to graduation?
No, I am. I'm gonna come here with a cap and gown. I'm gonna
Yeah.
wear it.
we're gonna let her wear the cap and gown in the car that night.
Yeah. Wait.
No. We got a friend that's actually gonna bring the car down for us. That way they can get it into the pits, get it staged, get everything ready.
Okay, well, I guess it's a matter of priorities.
Yeah. Mom's not.
Yeah, you're only young ones.
Yeah, it's only one time.
Oh, I did not exclude me from that.
Uh-huh.
I did not exclude myself from
You're
that.
old, Jack.
Well, but it's unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
So I got the same sponsor. She mumbled.
Okay. Yeah, I heard. I heard part of that.
Yeah. So
We're gonna get her to talk one of these days.
I'll tell you what, she does good on
I've
the phone.
heard her down there.
I know.
I came over here one day when we were all practicing, and I know she could talk. I knew she could talk then, but she was talking trash to somebody.
Probably.
It was probably him because he spun the race car out that one day. I went off to get stuff fixed for her car, and I get back and she goes, "Hey, Dad and Dave probably aren't going to tell you this. Grandpa and Dave probably aren't going to tell you this, but Papa spun the car out."
Right here.
And
Right there.
I said, "What did you do to the car?" And David said, "Oh my goodness." He says, "I thought he was going to hit this wall, and then I thought he was going to hit that wall, and then I thought he was going to hit this wall again. And somehow he missed all of them."
Don't know how.
That's talent.
I don't know. I think it was luck.
All right. I'm gonna end this just like this. If the three of y'all were in a race together, okay, I got my. I didn't even have to finish the question. She's already pointing at her.
Well, hopefully it's what I'm thinking. Hold on. Maybe you should continue.
Maybe who's gonna win the race if the three of you in the race? So you can figure that.
My
I don't
serious
think so.
thoughts?
He's got a. I don't know,
You're in trouble.
is
I'm
he
your
the
boss.
oldest rookie ever?
I don't know. Seriously, he's 66 this year.
If somebody said put the old rookie on.
The AARP Grand Stocks Rookie of the Year contender.
Well, I mean, we had Debbie Biesecker in the Pro 6. I forget what she got on the car. It's something.
Oh, ask me about.
Virginia, something solutions,
Yeah.
Medicare solutions.
Is it
Something,
Medicare, Medicaid,
yeah.
whatever?
Something like that.
She offered to help me.
She
She did.
But
She did.
I ain't gonna say that.
I've seen how he's driven since I was like, what was I, 12, 11 when you started up at Saluda?
Probably.
Yeah, he'll beat us. He'll just wear us down. And
I did race against you once.
I beat him
You
that day.
beat me.
He blew up the motor under caution.
I figured
that's where he got to overheating from.
It wasn't even his motor. It wasn't even his car.
Oh, really?
Guy had already wrapped up his points deal. So he's like, "Hey, John, drive my car." And he goes out there,
Was he beating you before the motor blew up?
Oh yeah, I was way back there and he was way up here,
Not even born.
And then I was 15.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh. That make
Um,
me old.
and I see this puff of smoke going down the backstretch, and then I see the red 38 pull off the track into the infield. It's, ooh, I beat him.
Stats don't lie, right?
That's right.
It was multiple
But
laps
did, he,
down.
but did he tell you if that car didn't blow up, you wouldn't have been nowhere near me?
Oh, I wasn't.
You know, it's like Scott finishing fourth. I'm finishing fifth in a 4-car race,
Yeah,
and everybody wants him to be driver of the week.
Did you guys see Casey? She posted the other night about, you know, what big field we had of modifieds and of the limiteds. Casey Gale.
Mm-hmm.
She was up in here in this area somewhere. And I
She was
said,
up there.
you know, if I squint really hard, I could almost see my car at the back of that modified lineup. That's where I was. Hey, I'm fine back. Whatever.
As long as you're having fun.
As long as I'm having fun, I don't care about the rest of it. No.
No, Mark, he's not, because they fired him.
I'll hire you. I'll fire.
What?
I'll fire. Oh wait.
Now, let me ask you something. Would you not be the one of them to win?
I mean, well, I don't have to. I'll just be way ahead.
That was a good answer. I'm gonna go with that. That's a good answer. Okay.
That was a good answer.
It was
I
a
have
real
to
good
agree.
answer. I'll be so far ahead, I ain't gotta worry about dumping. That's what they said about Scott too. Anyway, well, I appreciate you folks.
Aaron, have you ever known for that to happen? Ever?
Right.
I mean,
Jared, you think we didn't
Why
like you,
start
we didn't give you a
now?
hard time.
Why is Aaron on my case?
She's been on you. You need to favor them more.
Evidently, I'm not the favorite. When she told me that the other day, I'm not her favorite. I guess she meant that, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she did. Apparently, that's what it looks like. I mean, it's clear as day.
I'm guessing that the nomination's gone that way.
Well, it wasn't.
He wasn't even up for driver of the week this week, and he's got votes going on.
Well, that's not, it wasn't for driver of the week. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's seriously impressive. I mean, there was no competition there at all.
No, and there
But I
was
gotta
there was a
say-
lot of votes.
He was impressive in that car for his first time out there with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good, kids that are coming along.
Yes.
and that's a great field.
that,
I think it's going
that
to be a
division
great,
looked
great.
really, that
field.
division really looked good.
It did. And I was happy to see that number of cars.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, as a dad, I knew that she probably was going to have her nerves up about it because that's,
Sure.
I mean, all the way up through her karting, we're talking 5, 6, maybe 10 grand stocks even. And now you're looking at 20, 19, whatever it was that they had out
good
there.
teams.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, they all raced each other more or less clean and,
Mhm.
and put on a really good show.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get our program right and have her up there doing battle with them instead of.
I'm gonna get a hold of Chase. I see Chase Johnson on here. I'm gonna get a hold of Chase pretty soon. Try to get him on the show. He looked pretty good the other night
Mhm.
too, so I want to get him on the show.
Yes, he did.
I mean, just think about how many
I think he
generations
went, what,
the next
15th to
generation.
4th?
Mhm,
Yeah.
something like that,
15th to 4th in his first race in the car in a full, and that's his first race, I think I read, in a full size car,
Mhm.
period. Not
think
just
about it.
Virginia racer, but full size car.
But
Period.
think about it. He's got a heritage behind him.
Yes, sir.
And that's
Yes, sir.
And you can
That's what I mean.
tell.
Look at all the second and third generation drivers that are in that field.
Yep.
And then getting to race against some of the old guys that when I was coming along or was here as a kid that raced Paul DeBolt, Jimmy Humlet, the guys are getting to race against those guys.
Yep. Definitely history there.
Pretty
No
good
doubt.
deal. Anyway, we appreciate. We're gonna get you on here next time. Get you over here in the middle of everything, so you can
Chase
talk.
Johnson said he'd only been in a cart until that day.
Wow.
See if I can drive the car first.
Okay, well,
You got to get a little better finishes for he said he wants to come on.
If y'all get time.
Hey, that's gonna be cool. Him and Tim Wilson used to race on the dirt back in
Yeah.
the day.
Oh.
So
You got run-ins with Tim Wilson back then?
no.
No, he beat me all the time.
Well, Chase, I'm gonna get in touch with you. I'm trying to get you on the show in the next few weeks, and we'll talk to you then. Next week's show,
Is laying on the floor.
yeah, it's on the floor now. I wasn't. I would try to take it off my head. We're gonna have Jacob Carr's gonna be here next week. He won the truck race. Hunter Waltrip's gonna be here next week,
Oh, gosh.
and Kevin from Virginia.
You want me to bring Kevin Rickman? That could get really interesting.
Well, I'm not gonna try to. You know, that's one reason I sent Rick today instead of him coming next week too. But I didn't want a whole lot of confrontation.
No, Hunter's cool and everything.
But anyway,
I mean, he's still much funnier than he is a driver.
and Jacob Derrick is gonna be here next week. So we're gonna have 4 next week.
Right.
So but Kevin from Virginia is gonna be here. That'll be cool to have him here.
Yes, you hear his side of the sport.
You know who Kevin from Virginia is?
No, I
He's got his name is Kevin. He's from Virginia.
okay. Hey, I know him too.
Yeah.
No, he goes on Sirius XM all the time, and he's got to be well known as Kevin from Virginia. And he came up here
Yeah.
opening night. He was up here opening
Which
night.
race did he help call? Was it the trucks?
It was the trucks.
I want
It
to
was
Oh, great. You're going to throw him in there with 2 truck drivers.
Yeah. Well, if he goes, well, Kevin, what did you see in that race?
Yeah, that's right. It was the trucks because he was talking about, we didn't see a big wreck here tonight. Standing over there, just kept on talking and talking, and I said, "Uh-oh, this ain't gonna be good."
Yeah, super nice guy. We got to meet. I've seen him. I followed him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and it looks like he's at every damn cup race. He's not. He let us know, but it looks like he is. So it'll be interesting.
So anyway, all right, we'll see everybody next week. Share and like our show. We had a good one tonight, even though we did have Jared on here. But anyway, good show, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, I just want to say, think about you, Jack, with your mom passing away. Just want to make sure we
Thank
address
you.
that before we get off the air.
It's gonna be a rough day tomorrow, but
Next couple
we're gonna-
days.
Yeah, next couple days, but tomorrow's gonna be kind of tough, and we'll get through it, and maybe I'll start having my dad come out here with me now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him come back.
So anyway,
Look forward
we'll
to
see
seeing
how
him.
it goes. But
All right.
thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.